Buddy, I've been having so much fun with this guitar that I decided to do a video of the greatest acoustic classic rock songs of all time. So I hope you'll enjoy. I'll timestamp it so you can navigate it a little more easily, and I'll make some comments right along about each one, just very brief though. But so much great acoustic music in album-oriented rock. As I was thinking about this list, I didn't include singer-songwriters, even though there's some great guitar. Another kind of list, maybe, for like James Taylor, some of that great guitar playing you hear on some of those old Jim Croce songs. I did not consider those. I didn't consider great songs that were guitar-oriented, so like Peaceful Easy Feeling or something. I didn't really consider those. And I also didn't consider kind of people who were more compositional or a little bit too progressive, and like Al Di Meola or something. I know he's great as well, but I didn't consider people like him. So these are songs, acoustic rock songs, the greatest of all times. Here's number one. These are really ranked in order, but this is number one. It's from one of the great follow-up albums in the history of music, a second album to a terrific first album, maybe the greatest first album ever made. The drummer didn't really know what to do, so he played the rhythm part on a rubber garbage can. And the lyrics drew from J.R.R. Tolkien. It's just a great, really creative, cool acoustic guitar part. I remember hearing it when I was a kid. I think you'll recognize it. On from Led Zeppelin. I didn't want to put two of the same band, but you know, you've got Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, Going to California, Over the Hills and Far Away. Man, they've got some great acoustic music. That Bon Your Arf, Stairway to Heaven is half acoustic, isn't it? But Ramble On, I gave the call to Ramble On. It's such a great guitar part, so fun to play. This next one's from a 1971 album. Maybe one of the greatest albums ever made. I remember I got it in high school. I wish I still had my copy. That album has Bargain on it, Won't Get Fooled Again. It has Baba O'Reilly, My Wife, Boris the Spider, as I recall. And the acoustic song I was going to put down on this list originally from this album was Behind Blue Eyes. And I started thinking about it. I said, you know what? There's one other acoustic song on that album that's got to be one of the great acoustic songs ever. I think you'll recognize it. Well, that just shows you what a great band The Who was. I heard that they just played that as a trio, really. Maybe did some light overdubbing. All those songs are so well done, and the playing in them with the drums and the bass and the guitar working together is so great. And that's a really great song. This next one you might know. I think you will if you like good music, but maybe you won't. It's not quite as familiar, I don't think. It's off a 1974 album that's maybe, along with the first band, Led Zeppelin, we talked about, one of the best first albums ever. And it was kind of a little acoustic song they stuck on there. And I remember hearing it on an 8-track tape when I was a kid. I always loved it. And I played it quite a bit over the years myself. The Silverbird Drill used to do this one. I know you'll recognize it. Seagull is just an excellent, excellent song. Paul Ryder's singing it. I remember hearing that on 8-track tape not that long after that album came out, and what a great first album. I think Straight Shooter, their follow-up, had some great songs on it, but it's pretty hard to follow up. And I always thought Bad Company had a little trouble following up ever that great first album they did, but super duper good song, Seagull. This next one really needs no introduction. I think you might even know it just from hearing the first little harmonic before the guitar part actually even starts, but it's such a great song. My dad used to love this song and even bought the album when I was like 12 years old, and so I grew up with this song. What a great acoustic guitar song. Angie is a really beautiful song. You know, I remember that came out in 1973 and I was 12, and my dad heard Mick Jagger and the Stones singing on TV, and he didn't know anything about the Stones. And the next morning he was all excited, and we drove to the Pontiac Mall in Pontiac, Michigan, and my dad bought the full album of Goathead Soup vinyl, which I still have a copy of somewhere around here. He bought the full album piano vocal guitar book, and he also bought the 45. By the way, I always play Angie ever since then. It was one of the first nice acoustic guitar songs I ever learned, where I kind of picked something a little more, you know, defined. And but I learned it out of that book, actually, and it's a little different than I see people playing it. But, you know, my dad took that album home, and we went home and listened to it, and he heard Angie, but then he heard Dancing with Mr. D and Heartbreaker and Silver Train and Star Star, which is one of the raunchiest songs and most inappropriate songs in the history of rock music. And boy, did he sure change his tune. I'll never forget that. But even years later, he would always mention that as being a great song, which it really was. I have a lesson on it in the lessons if you ever look. This next one I didn't really know. I learned it for this because it's just a great acoustic guitar song by a great artist. I think that was the heart of a great progressive rock band. I think you'll know it when you hear it. Used to hear that one growing up a lot on the radio, and I had a couple friends that had that album. That was not an album I ever listened to all that much. I think they used to play one of those Emerson, Lake and Palmer songs off that album, Hoedown, at Detroit Red Wing games. But anyway, super duper good song. You know, Greg Lake was not one of those real flashy kind of hot licks type guitar players. And sometimes I think maybe that helped him because he wasn't bound by a lot of the idioms that a lot of flashier players use. I play with a lot of idioms myself, so he would come up with all these really kind of out of the box chord shapes and patterns and kind of specific things. That song just has this kind of mystical jazzy vibe. It's just really a great song. This next one I also grew up listening to. I had the greatest hits album, Skeletons in the Closet. I didn't have many other Dead albums, but I wore that one album out. I mean, I listened to it a million times, when I was like 17, 18, 19. So super duper good album. And this was always my favorite song on that album. And this is also a song I have played a lot over the years. And the Silverbird Duo used to do this one every single time we ever put on guitars, just about. Yeah, that Friend of the Devil is actually based on an old fiddle tune called Blackberry Blossom. If you've been around bluegrass or old time music, you probably heard it. I played it many a time, and it's also a great song. It's kind of similar, actually. I saw the Grateful Dead around 1980 at Pine Knob Music Theater outside of Detroit. Four of us went down. We had different seats in the arena. So after the show, when we got back to the car, my friend who was sitting in another part of Pine Knob said he had had a religious experience during the drum solo, and we thought he was being funny. And no, he was dead serious. He had some they had about a 20-minute two drum solo, and my friend said that he'd had this big enlightening experience. It was like kind of a mountaintop event for him. Wonder if he still feels that way today. I haven't seen him in a long time. But this next song is just a great song on a great album, and sort of a fitting song for the end of a great album. It's by a great artist. I wish he got a little more credit after this album, because he's done good music right along. But this song, if his contribution to this album on many songs, including this one, sort of speaks for itself, and that's that. You have something in your life. This is a great song. It was done with Dwayne Allman, Carl Rattle, Jim Gordon, and Mr. Clapton, and the guy who wrote it right here. It's such a beautiful song. This is how I played it. I got it out of a piano vocal guitar book. I don't think he plays it this way. But this was how it was in the sheet music version years ago. Actually, by a great band. They used to compare them a lot to the Eagles. I don't know if that's a good comparison, but just as a song, this has got to be one of the ultimate '70s songs. I think so many '70s thoughts and see so many '70s images when I hear this great song. I wish I had two guitars to play it, and it's actually a great one to play if you've got 2 or 3 acoustic guitars and a couple people that can harmonize fairly well. And it's an automatic classic song. killer song that Blind Faith did, but it's a Stevie Winwood song. And I always thought, man, it's too bad that that Blind Faith and the Derek and the Dominoes band couldn't have blended or something more, because when Clapton and Stevie Winwood played, you had all those great songs from Stevie Winwood on the Blind Faith album, and this is one of them. And it's a great acoustic guitar song, but if you ever hear them do it live, you can really rock it out, too. It's a great, great acoustic guitar classic. I don't think I've heard this next song in a long time, but if you're my age or around my age, you'll remember when almost everybody with an acoustic guitar wanted to learn this song or did know this song. It's a great song. It's a very meaningful song. It's a very sad song. It's about Danny Whitten. I think he was a member of Crazy Horse. I'm kind of tossing this last one on there. I couldn't make up my mind between this one and Ventura Highway. I said I wasn't going to have two by the same group. I probably got too much delay for a couple of these songs that are more folkish, but I'm using this analog delay pedal. It sounds great on some of them, though, man, alive. But for some of the more folkish, clean ones, I probably got too much delay. But you'll know this one. I remember seeing it on TV right around the time they did it, and I've liked it ever since. It's just a great song. Those were the top 10 acoustic guitar songs of classic rock, especially prog rock and some of the album-oriented rock of at least my youth, and I know a lot of yours. Man, there was some great acoustic music in that period. I just thought of Led Zeppelin. You know, they were a great acoustic band among many others. But it was always great, especially with the band that played a lot of electric guitars, when they do something really cool with an acoustic guitar. And some of those songs were really creative. We all love guitar, but some of those were just so creative in the way they created chords and sounds and moods that were kind of distinct, that were really kind of out of the box. A few of those were really special songs. That Emerson, Lake and Palmer is another one. This is a really nice song. By the way, I was using my Taylor with the Expression System 2 playing through an electric guitar amp, which everybody says you shouldn't do, but I actually, acoustic guitar amps didn't come around till the late 80s. I think a lot of these songs were probably played if they were using acoustic guitars through an electric guitar amp. I think it sounds very authentic. It doesn't sound straight up like an acoustic guitar, but it sounds pretty darn good. And I had some analog delay on it with the TC Electronic Echo Brain, and I probably had a little bit too much delay on it for some songs, but for others, some of those like Stevie Winwood type songs, or some of those songs in a minor key, man, that delay is really nice. And I'm gonna have to think about a way to use that sound as a live sound, going through a tube amp, electric guitar tube amp with analog delay, and then playing it a nice acoustic guitar, because I happen to think it sounds really good. Thanks. God bless.